Asia Wilson, the MVP of the WNBA, the greatest player in women's basketball that nobody cares.
After Caitlin's possible relocation to Europe, Asia Wilson, the WNBA's unmatched MVP and perhaps the best player in women's basketball, a quality that is all too frequently underappreciated, finds herself in a difficult situation. After making it clear that she is the star of Nike, Asia now faces the disturbing truth of Caitlin's potential profits abroad, which causes a great deal of friction. Allegations have surfaced regarding Caitlin's mistakes, but in my opinion, she has just performed really well on the court and has avoided the hate she has received from a variety of sources, including the fans. The possibility of Caitlin leaving may make her the highest paid women's basketball player in the world, which is unsettling for Asia. Asia feels marginalized despite being named MVP. She deserves greater recognition and better possibilities, but they seem out of reach. Why isn't Asia Wilson making news for his incredible feat of scoring 1,000 points in one regular season? Instead, why is Caitlin Clark the subject of constant discussion? Why should we pay so much attention to Caitlin? Although Caitlin's increasing sponsorship deals and higher salary have greatly increased WNBA viewership, jealousy still exists inside the league. This emphasizes how important it is that she look into other options. Imagine a WNBA game without Caitlin Clark. She is now expected to score remarkable points, like 26 and 12, which demonstrate her deep comprehension of and adjustment to the WNBA style of play. Even so, Asia continues to believe in her fame, which existed before Caitlin's entrance and when there was little fan interaction with the WNBA. Caitlin has a compelling argument for becoming the highest paid employee. If she decides to play abroad, it would be a crucial example for her peers, including those in Asia, of the world without her. We notice an unnerving observation when we turn to look at the spectator stands. Many of the seats, including the desired courtside seats, are empty. The WNBA has been rocked by Caitlin Clark's possible involvement with a European league. Europe has a well-established reputation as a haven for top athletes, with leagues there renowned for their fierce competition and high salaries that frequently outpay the WNBA. Playing in Europe has a lot of financial appeal since it promises both wealth and sustained sporting success. Due to this change, home games have been moved to bigger venues to accommodate the growing crowds, which are especially visible when Indiana visits. As a result, league attendance has increased by almost 50% this year alone, with Indiana leading the way with an astounding average rise of 39%. The story of Caitlin's possible transfer is changing the dynamics of the WNBA and highlighting how one player's choice may have a profound effect on women's basketball's future. Asia Wilson has publicly voiced her worries over Caitlin Clark's possible contract in Europe, citing a major problem: financial inequality. Asia, a WNBA powerhouse for many years, finds it especially upsetting to think that Caitlin could outyear her foreign earnings. The status that comes with being the highest paid player in the league is just as important as financial security. As a result, Asia struggles with the need to adopt a mentality that rationalizes getting care she doesn't deserve. Higher salaries in professional sports not only indicate more worth, but also garner more respect. Being one of the most valuable players, both on and off the court, is frequently correlated with having one of the highest salaries. After working hard to establish her reputation and solidify her position in the WNBA, Asia now faces the grim possibility that Caitlin's rising stardom could eclipse her own. It is difficult for someone who has long been a league icon to adjust to this change. Asia, who was formerly a member of one of the WNBA's most beloved teams, is currently navigating a season that is full with controversy. Her worries go beyond the monetary consequences, as she was recently chastised for her comments to Kelsey Plum. Asia is concerned that Caitlin's relocation to Europe could threaten her position as the league's most recognizable figure. Asia has long been the point of reference when talking about women's basketball. Caitlin's quick ascent, though, poses a serious challenge to this dynamic. Asia finds it disturbing that Caitlin might not only outperform her monetarily, but also garner international attention, undermining her feeling of stability and status in the sport. Being the WNBA's face involves more than just being a great athlete. It also involves having the capacity to inspire public interest, increase viewership, and represent the league internationally. This distinction has long been held by Asia Wilson, but Caitlin Clark's rise has sparked a fierce rivalry between the two. The opinion that Caitlin ought to be a clear favorite for MVP demonstrates the extent of her influence, so much so that it seems impossible to dispute her status as a key player. The challenge for Asia is not just to be a great player, but also to be relevant in a changing sports environment where Caitlin's impact is quickly becoming a defining feature of women's basketball's future. There have been notable changes in how fans view Asia and Caitlin. Caitlin has become a fan favorite both in game and online because to her fast expanding fan base, which is supported by her active social media involvement and the high viewership her games receive. This represents a significant shift in public image. There is a noticeable rift inside the WNBA as a result of the developing rivalry between Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark. Asia has been successful for a long time, but she hasn't been able to generate the same degree of fan loyalty that Caitlin seems to have done effortlessly. Asia's unwillingness to accept her alleged advantages stands in sharp contrast to Caitlin's perception as not only an issue, but also a solution and an inspiration for the league. Given Caitlin's quick rise to fame, it's unclear why she has struck such a deep chord with followers, whereas Asia, in spite of her constant brilliance, finds it difficult to win over as many admirers. Audiences are frequently enthralled by the appeal of up-and-coming talent, and Caitlin's debut in the WNBA has given the league a new and captivating story. While Asia, despite her domination, is seen as a relic of the league's past, Caitlin is now seen by fans as the future of women's basketball. Asia's recent performance, in which her team won just one game in the series, reinforced this impression and raised questions about what would happen in a longer series. More than just a personal letdown, Asia's lack of public recognition jeopardizes her legacy and continued relevance in a sport where a player's longevity depends on fan support. There is genuine concern for Asia that if Caitlin's fan base grows, her own followers may dwindle, which might lessen her power in the league and in public. Although winning MVP should have solidified her position as the WNBA spokesperson, Caitlin is progressively taking center stage. Nike appears more concerned with pleasing her than actually marketing her brand. So even if she has her own signature shoe and emblem, there is a feeling that these attempts fall short. Despite her significant contributions to raising viewership and promoting player welfare, the league has also shown a remarkable reluctance to fully embrace Caitlin's rise. Given Caitlin's contribution to raising awareness of women's basketball and introducing important changes like chartered aircraft for player travel, this league rejection seems puzzling. Caitlin's status as a revolutionary who challenges the WNBA's long-standing conventions may be a contributing factor in the organization's reluctance to accept her. Because of her candidness, her quick ascent, and her support for better conditions, Caitlin has become a divisive figure. Despite the opposition, her accomplishments guiding her team to its first 20-win season in almost 10 years and earning a postseason berth make her worthy of praise and honors. Debates concerning the league's future and how its stars are treated have been triggered by her aggressive approach and prominence, underscoring a larger conflict between upholding established systems and welcoming innovative reforms. Some see Caitlin Clark as a force that is upending the WNBA's established order and bringing about change too quickly for comfort. However, the league's power dynamics are intricately linked to this opposition. Because of her increasing power, Caitlin is able to make demands and push back against the comfort zones of those who are used to being in charge. In contrast, even though LeBron James wore signature shoes during his rookie season, Caitlin Clark's impact on the WNBA has been far greater than his on the NBA. The league's reluctance to completely support Caitlin highlights a more profound tension between upholding established authority and giving players the ability to express their wants and opinions. Significant improvements have resulted from Caitlin's efforts, most notably the addition of chartered planes, which have significantly enhanced the travel circumstances for players. Before her work, WNBA players frequently struggled with demanding travel schedules that hindered their recuperation and effectiveness. A more professional and comfortable atmosphere has been created by Caitlin's advocacy for charter flights, allowing athletes to focus on becoming the best basketball players. Even if certain stakeholders are criticizing and voicing disapproval, they should supposedly be grateful for the decreased audience since they think it supports their opinions. However, the irony is that these advancements are actually benefiting the league. Caitlin has been a strong supporter of equitable pay and better working circumstances for WNBA players, going beyond simply making travel arrangements easier. She has become a crucial leader in the league as a result of her proactive approach, but it has also drawn criticism. Caitlin continues to push for changes that benefit all players in spite of resistance from colleagues and the league's management. However, not everyone agrees with her efforts. Rather than being praised, she is frequently involved in disputes. There are differences between those who support Caitlin's progressive agenda and those who oppose the changes she supports, because players like A'ja Wilson see her push for change as a danger to the status quo. In terms of jersey sales, Caitlin Clark is the league leader, with Angel Reese, Sabrina, and Kate Martin in close pursuit. We talked about Kate Martin's unexpected underutilization early in the season, particularly in the second half. She might benefit from greater playing time, or her career might be revitalized by a move to a team like Indiana. The WNBA's viewership ratings are seriously threatened by the prospect of Caitlin Clark moving to Europe. Fans specifically tune in to observe Caitlin's dynamic play style and intimate interactions with the crowd, making her one of the league's top attractions. Viewership noticeably increases when Caitlin performs, yet her absence is also accompanied by a sharp decline in ratings. In addition to losing one of its top players, the WNBA would lose a sizable portion of its fan base if Caitlin moved to a European league, creating a gap that may never be filled. For a league looking to increase its viewership and prominence, this would be a serious setback. Beyond only viewership, Caitlin's possible exit has wider ramifications that impact the league's overall finances and player morale. Players' incomes may suffer, and their capacity to develop personal brands may be hampered by fewer sponsorship agreements and endorsement opportunities brought about by fewer gamegoers. The WNBA has reached new heights thanks to Caitlin, and the league runs the serious risk of regressing without her. The issue might get worse for A'ja Wilson, who has already expressed her annoyance at Caitlin's growing popularity. If Caitlin leaves and takes a sizable chunk of the league's viewership with her, Asia's worries go beyond the court to her relationships, particularly with Nike, which has chosen to concentrate major marketing efforts on A'ja rather than completely support Caitlin despite her fame. Since many people, notably those in Asia, find it difficult to adjust when the norms are questioned, this has generated considerable debate inside the league. For A'ja, preserving her reputation and impact in the sport is more important than just receiving monetary compensation. An athlete's public image and financial security are greatly influenced by endorsements, which enable them to compete at the greatest levels. The careful balance that brands must strike between promoting exceptional talent and avoiding potential problems is highlighted by Nike's hesitancy to fully support Caitlin. Caitlin has received a lot of criticism from many sources despite her revolutionary influence on the league, which begs the issue of how she will be received more widely in the sport. Not only is this pushback confusing, but it also highlights the league's resistance to change, with some seasoned players like A'ja seeing Caitlin's quick ascent as a direct challenge to their position. Caitlin is a pivotal person in the WNBA because of her support of increased player welfare and better travel arrangements using chartered jets. However, these efforts have put her at odds with a league that is still unsure of its identity and course. In addition to posing a threat to the WNBA's current commercial model, Caitlin's possible departure to Europe would mark a dramatic change in the way professional women's basketball views and appreciates its talent. The WNBA must reevaluate how it supports and promotes its stars, because Caitlin's decision to stay or go will have a significant impact on both her career and the league's future course. Caitlin's departure might cause a change in the dynamics of women's basketball around the world, making Europe a new hub for top players and putting pressure on the WNBA to change or risk losing its standing in the global arena.